Mabuhay Philippines and mabuhay world! Good day, Coach Jude. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Angelo Iabaro, your little teacher for today. And also allow me to introduce my fellow members. Minimo J. Carlo, as the facilitator, ensures the group work well, that all people have a chance to speak, and all ideas are listened to. Abdurrasib Nasreen, as the resource manager, collects and manages resources by the group. Jimenez Laika, as the recorder, makes note for the group. And lastly, Gregorio Carril K, as the editor, in charge of overseeing, ensuring, and peer review of editorial process, fair, timely, true, and polite. And we are the Group 3 BPET 1M. Good day, Coach Jude. I am Angelo Iabaro, the first reporter of today, and I will going to discuss and answer the first question. So the first question is, cite at least 2 classroom situations where these principles can be applied to the teaching learning process. In the classroom, the teacher speaks and encourages students to learn and listen. Cognitive and metacognitive. In the classroom situation, the teacher speaks and encourages students to learn and listen. By applying cognitive and metacognitive, each learners must use strategic thinking in their approach to learning, reasoning, problem solving, and idea acquisition by including cognitive and metacognition features. This will help them to be aware and capable of employing a wide range of tactics to aid the achievements of learning and performance objectives, as well as the application to their knowledge in classroom situation. Next we have motivational and effective factors principle. In the classroom situation, the teacher speaks and encourages students to learn and listen. This will help the learners in the internal world of thoughts, belief, aspiration, and expectation for success or failure can increase the interfere with the equality of thinking and information processing. The main focus of motivation is influenced by the nature of learning and students' perceptions of themselves as learners. Next, we have developmental and social factors. In the classroom situation, the teacher speaks and encourages students to learn and listen. These domains includes a student's former experience and learning preparations, developmental elements, as well as interpersonal relationship between and among students and teachers or facilitators, as well as the social features that influence current learning. It covers the situations and variables that affect students' emotional, intellectual, social, and physical development from conception to adulthood. Lastly, we have individual difference factor. So the teachers speak in the classroom and encourage students to learn and listen. The teacher speaks in the classrooms and encourage students to learn and listen. The teacher in the class should be aware of the research individual difference among his students. Academic ability or IQ, degree of achievement, gender, learning style, ethnicity, and culture are all factors in the classroom. So that's all. So let us call the next reporter, Minimo J. Carlo.
Cite at least 1 classroom situations where these principles can be applied in the teaching learning process. The other one classroom situation that I can give you were these principles that can apply also in teaching learning process as the diversity classroom situations, where all of the learners in a classroom situations are all different from each other. It includes their race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, the socioeconomic status, age, religious beliefs, and also the political views. These principles can apply in diversity in the teaching learning process because it enriches learning and produces results within the context of current schools reform. These principles giving them the opportunity that are intended to deal holistically with learners in the context of the real-world learners situations and providing them a framework for developing and incorporating every components in learning different situation. It is a classroom approach or strategy that places the diversity through learners at the center of learning. As being accepted in the society by being different, these principles is important in teaching environment as it helps to develop the learners who can study research, learn and work on their own, as well as it helps the learners in develop lifelong learning and develop to become independent in facing a problem situations. As being diverse, these principles apply teaching learning process in a situations of diversity by applying practices in different various areas that includes developmental, experimental, social, educational, community, and etc. All of these 14 principles can lead to effective schooling, and it's very reasonable that these principles lead a positive environment for learners, teachers, and the school system as serve them by being a diversity. So this approach, this 14 principle is important for them and it can be applied in a diversity classroom situations. That's all and thank you.
Question number 2. What are the factors that promote learner-centeredness and what motivates the learners to be productively and be accountable for their own learnings? So there are 8 factors that promote learner-centeredness, and they are nature of learning process, goals of the learning process, construction of knowledge, strategic thinking, thinking about thinking, context of learning, motivational and emotional influences on learning, and lastly, intrinsic motivation to learn. And what inspires learners to be productive and responsible for their own learning? Make sure you and your students understand why each learning activity is taking place. Do not assign busy work. If at all possible, stay away from worksheets. Instead of arranging activities, start with the why, then create learning experiences that will encourage individual learning. Students may be driven by a passion of a subject, previous success in that subject, a desire to please parents or teachers, or just their personal desire to succeed. And that will be all for the question number 2.
How are you going to relate Republic Act 10533 in the K-12 framework to the principle of learner-centeredness? The competence to engage in work and be productive, the ability to coexist in fruitful harmony with local and global communities, and the capacity to engage in autonomous, creative, and critical thinking. The FED K-12 curriculum is advertised as learner-centered. It focuses on optimum development of the Filipino child. It is hereby declared that every graduate of basic education shall be an empowered individual who has learned through a program based on sound educational principles and cared toward excellence, the foundation for lifelong learning.
Good day, Coach Jude, and good day, everyone. My name is Laika May Jimenez, and the stakeholder in this group. So today, I will be going to discuss on what I've been assigned topic, which is called how the developmental and social factors influence learning environment in promoting fairness, respect, and care in the classroom. So the first step as a teacher or to the teacher is to make a kind of environment inside the classroom where students feel like safe and kinda homies, feels, or vibing. I believe as a student, these are the aspects that for me as a student that really need it in the classroom or in school, which is to create the band of all the students coming or going along together. So the most important aspect that the teacher should do is to make the students safe and the positive learnings that they will be taught inside the classroom, so the students will participate inside the class. And of course, the rapport between the students and the teachers inside the classroom, and it will lead them on the outside the school, and of course it will apply to the community and to the society. So when the students understand that their teacher cares about them and wants them to do well, the students feels comfortable asking questions, making mistakes, or even taking a risk in order to learn something new or explore something new. Classroom not only gives the teacher respect, but also gives the students a sense of safeness and trust within the classroom, creating an environment that revolves around fairness, trust, and respect that will be beneficial to all the students inside the class. Respect in the classroom can be elicited from students by being consistent in watching the language and actions, especially in the application of consequences for violation of the rules. Students like predictability in their day, and when the routine of the classroom is consistent, there is a predictability, and this predictability can help to maintain a structure, environment, and it promotes the development of self-control in the students. So, caring supports learners' strength and interest in activities, and of course, it will lead them to participate in the other learning activities that will lead them to the new experiences, and it will reflect in what we students want to know or understand more about it and be able to do well in the academic. So caring is like one of the acts that we will gain support for the to do well in the study, to gain that, and of course to be able to participate more in this school. So the developmental and social factors, they promote the students a kind of environment, or they build the kind of environment inside the classroom for the students and the teachers to get along together. And of course, it will help the students to encourage or to have courage with their development as well as their social connection and the collaboration they will have as a classmate to classmate or teacher to students. So learning that will have the social interaction and communication, it will lead them to make a bond, to make a friends inside and outside, and of course it will give them more knowledge to express their thoughts and ideas and to